Okay, welcome back everybody. So yesterday we went over this problem for exercise for the exercise for chapter 5 exercise. We just went over an example of FIFO and we went over an example of weighted average. So today I want to go ahead and continue with the exercises. For this time, for this question here, it's going to be for LIFO, okay? Yes, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So LIFO, okay? So here's question number 13. Your inventory method is periodic and LIFO. Assume all purchases are made on account, okay? Round to the nearest penny. So again, let's practice again since yesterday we took a shortcut, but today I want to do everything. So let's go ahead and journalize our transactions as we go and post them into the worksheet and go from there. Okay? All right. So, what does the first thing say?
Oh, June 5, purchase 1,000 toys at $1.
Mm-hmm.
Freight cost 50.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, we're going to journalize it first and then post it to our inventory worksheet. So, let's go ahead and do that. So, how do we journalize?
Okay. Got June 5,
Shh.
and we've got,
I'm just going to do this if you don't mind.
we've got June 5, putting that in, and then purchase expense.
Yes, purchase expense. Good.
Oh, my pencil just went out, broke it. Just 1 second. Okay, purchase expense, and then freight expense.
Mm-hmm. Good. Freight expense.
And then accounts payable, or receivable.
Wait.
I'm sorry, accounts payable.
Good. 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 We're owing the vendor
Right,
money.
right,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Payable.
Okay. Payable. Okay. So, what are the numbers that go here?
Okay, we've got 1,000 toys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, date first.
We have the date.
It's 5/6. Or June 6. I'm sorry, June 5. Okay, quantity is 1,000.
Oh, wait. We're gonna journalize it first. I mean, yeah, we're gonna journalize it first.
Oh, that's right. We're putting it in the journal. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the purchase expense debit.
Mm-hmm. For how much?
Oh, get my calculator here. Okay, so it's 1,000 at $1, so it's $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So debit 1,000.
Debit 1,000. Good.
And the freight for this is $50.
Mm-hmm.
So our accounts payable is $1,050.
Yes, $1,050. Good. All right. Now we journalize it. Now we're gonna post it into our inventory worksheet.
Okay.
So June 5.
The quantity is 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
The unit is $1. Purchase price is 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
The freight expense is $50.
Mm-hmm.
The total cost is 1,050.
That's correct.
50.
And
Our cost per per unit or per item.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just 1 second. Is 105.
$1.05. That's correct.
Mhm.
All right. All right. So then, what's the net? What does the next scenario say?
Okay. The next one is June 10th, 6:10. Oh,
Okay.
no, we're doing the, journal entry first.
Yes, we're gonna bring a journal first. Okay.
Okay,
Oopsies.
so we're doing
So June 10.
June 10. Put,
Oopsies. I forgot to skip a line.
breaking. Okay, June 10. All right, and this is gonna be purchase expense.
Yes.
Purchase expense is $1,000.
Up.
Oh,
Let's look.
Wrong thing, yeah. Um, purchase, and then we're gonna have freight.
$45.
Yeah. Purchase is, $850. Inventory is $45. I'm sorry, freight is $45.
All right. Hold on. Before we do anything, for the account for the purchase price. I'm sorry, purchase expense. How much did you get?
For the purchase expense is $850.
Why are you why
Oh, no,
850?
no, that's right, I didn't put the, oh, that's the amount, okay, I'm sorry. Just in a second. We're doing 850 at 125.
You said, David, what did you say? 1,610?
1,062.
1,062, okay.
1,062.50, no?
50. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, 50.
Okay, so that gives us
45.
1,107.50.
1,078 or 87?
1,007 or 1107.
1107, okay.
1107.
50 cents.
And 50 cents. Okay. Now we're going to post it.
Okay, 610,
50.
850 quantity at $1.25 unit price.
Uh-huh.
Purchase price is $1,062.50. $45 freight expense.
Uh-huh.
Total cost $1107.50.
Oopsie, sorry. 1107.50, and the cost per item is
$1.30.
$1.30. Okay. Now what you can do for the next one, so to help you calculate it easier, what you can do is go ahead and let's work on the third one and just leave it and just fill it into our worksheet, and then we journalize it after. Okay, so what's the third transaction?
20 June.
June 20, 500,
$1.50.
$1.50.
$750. The freight expense 25. That's a total of $775.
And what is our unit per rate? Cost per item.
155.
$1.55.
$1.55. Now, see, if we do this, we already made our calculations right here under the purchase price and the total cost. So what we can do is after do this, then we can go to our journal and journalize it because we already did the calculations. Now, the reason why I showed you to do it the journal first is because oftentimes a lot of students, once they finish this part, they always forget to journalize right after. So that's why I want you to practice this, to journalize first and then post it to your inventory worksheet. But then again, you're going to be calculating twice. Okay, this is just a safety measures of how to journalize. But it is not wrong if you go to the worksheet first and then post second. Okay, you just have to remember to post to the journal, because if you forget, your whole entire journal and your transactions, when we start moving into posting to the ledger and whatnot, it will get all jumbled up because you forgot to include this specific journal. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So so here we solved that this was. See, I already remember it's $750 plus our $25 of freight, and we got $775. Okay.
Yes.
That way we avoid having to calculate twice. Okay. But this is just again another way you can do it. But like I said, oftentimes you're more likely to forget. So, okay. So let's go ahead and continue the last June. The 25th of June.
25th is 600, quantity 600 at 175 per unit, which is, purchase price is $1,050. Freight expense is $30. The total cost is $1,080. And our cost per item is $1.80.
$1.80. Okay. You sure it's 180?
Yeah, hold on just.
That's what I came up with.
What did you say, David?
That's what I came up with.
You got $1.80?
Yes.
Okay. All
Is that
right. Yeah, I'm just making sure because it just looks weird.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we gotta finish journalizing the last part, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
625. Oopsies. What do we got? What do we have to debit? Purchase expense.
Purchase expense.
And what's after that?
Purchase expense is $1,050. The freight expense is $30. It's debit. Both of those are debits. And your accounts payable is $1,080.
Okay. And then this one is accounts payable. Okay, so 1080. Okay. Now, what else happened? What happened on June 30th?
June 30th, you got some toys, 1,000. Or 1,200 you have on hand. Toys.
Okay. Do we need to journalize this?
No.
Not yet. Okay, but so we're reached the end of the period. So let's go ahead and calculate. Let's go ahead and do our periodic inventory. So what's the first thing we gotta do?
Oh, the quantity.
We have to add it all up.
We have to sum up all the totals. So what's first?
Quantity is 22950. 2950. I'm sorry.
22950.
The purchases are 386250.
386250.
386250.
And then this one is
150 for freight
mm-hmm.
and 401250.
Okay, good. So now that we finished solving for the bottom part, we can go ahead and plug them in to our little table here. So how many items do we have total in purchases?
29.50.
How much did it just cost for just purchasing those items?
3,862.50.
Yes. Do we have any returns?
No.
No. Okay. So then here you're going to add them together and you're going to get 2,950. The next one is this one is going to be 3,862.50 because we didn't add anything. Now, freight, there is no items involved in freight, but how much was freight?
150.
150, so we should get a grand total of 2,950 items, costing me $4,012.50. Okay?
Yep.
So what's going to happen is these two numbers are going to come down here. Do we have any beginning inventory?
No.
No, we don't have any beginning inventory. Okay, oopsies. No, that's supposed to be 0. And this is like that. Then we add them together. We add up our net purchases, which is the things that we got from up here. So
950.
our goods available that we have, we only have 2,950 items to sell, and the whole thing cost $4,012.50. Okay. Let's go back up to the top again. How many items do we have left in inventory?
1200.
We have 1,200. Okay, so that at least we know ending inventory. Someone went physically down the warehouse or the basement and counted that they had 1,200 toys left. So how many toys did you sell?
1750.
1,750.
No, I'm sorry. You're talking about the amount, the cost?
No, you were right.
Oh, okay, yeah, the 1750.
Yeah. How many items did we sell? Like total items that are physically gone from our basement.
We
Yes,
sold 1750.
We
because
sold.
have 1,200 left.
exactly. So how we solved that? You only have 2,950 goods to sell. If you have a total of 1,200 left, how do you figure out how many you sold? You just subtract the two numbers. All right. So now we're gonna first solve for cost of goods sold. Okay. So our goal at the end of this day is to calculate the total amount of items we sold. So let's go back to the top and see, first of all, what kind of inventory costing method are we dealing with?
Oh, first in, first out.
No, last in. Life
Oh, I'm
out.
sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
last in is the first to
Oh,
go
last,
out.
right.
Okay. So, understanding that concept, which batch do we take out first?
The June 25th batch.
Yes. Yes, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. So, here we have 600. All right. Just knowing we're going to utilize this entire thing, we don't need to calculate per unit, so we know that that whole thing cost us $10.80.
And 50 cents.
And 50 cents. I only got $10.80.
There's no 50 cents there? Okay. Okay, I don't know where I got my 50 cents. Okay, yeah, there shouldn't be any 50 cents because it's $1.80.
Okay.
It's an even number, so I don't know why I wrote that. I wrote it down wrong.
All
Okay,
right, it's
1080.
okay. So it's 1080. Okay. So if we only took out 600, and we're supposed to sell 1750 in total. How many more do we need to go?
1150.
Mm-hmm. So which batch do we start off now? Next.
The June 20th.
June
520.
20th. So we got 500 in quantity, and that whole thing cost us
775.
50. Yes. Good. Now, because we know that we're going to use that whole batch, because if we calculate it, that's 1100. We still got 650 left.
650.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the batch above it. Boom, we have 850 now.
But
Okay.
we only need 650.
We only need 650. So I'm going to write right here 650. Come on, finger. 650, right? So this is where we're going to do cost per item to find out how much of those 850 items is that we actually sold. So let's go look at let's go ahead and look at batch number 3 and follow a go across and tell me how much per unit is it going to cost to sell.
$1.30.
$1.30, correct. So $1.30. Now, simple math, you're going to multiply the 2, and what do you get?
845.
845. Okay. So what you're going to do is when you get to the bottom, I'm going to do it right here so it's easy for you to see. You're going to total up this amount right here. So we know that this is going to total up to be 1750. And then what is the total amount of these 3 items here?
2700.
2700. Even?
Yes.
Nice. See? So for us selling 1,750 items, it cost us 2,700. So we're going to put that number here. All right. And then how much do we know? How do we solve for the ending inventory?
You subtract 2700 from 4012 and 50 cents,
Mm-hmm.
and you should get 1312.50.
13,1250. Good. Good. So we filled out the table here. And then now we're going to do our conversion entry. So again, let's practice. What do you need to recognize when you're doing the conversion entry? We're taking an expense and we're converting it into inventory. So June 30th. What accounts do we need to have?
Toys.
Yes, we need to know the specific inventory item that we bought. In this case, we know it's toys.
Yes.
All right. What else do we need to recognize?
Cost of goods sold.
Yes, that's the purpose of us doing this whole thing is to figure out how much we sold. So cost of goods sold. All right. What else do you need to recognize?
Purchase expense.
Yes, you need to zero out your purchase expense. And then lastly, you need to what?
Freight expense.
Okay. So again, we're going to go scroll all the way up to get those numbers. So here, how much was the total cost of ending inventory?
$1,312.50.
Yes. And then our cost of goods sold was
2,700.
27.
So we're going to go here. We know that cost ending inventory was $13,1250. And we know that cost of goods sold was 2,700. All right. Now let's go to the top again. And how much was total purchases? How much was your purchase expense?
3862.50,
Yes. And then how much was your freight expense?
150.
150. So 3862.50. 3826.50, and our freight expense was 150. Okay. If you total up the columns, they should equal out 100%. Okay.
Okay.
All right then. So next is we're gonna continue with our LIFO problem, and now we're gonna be moving into July. So again, here we are, June 30th. You have 1,200 toys on hand. Okay. So what's the first thing you gotta do when you recognize this?
Start with the date.
Okay.
Yeah, 30.
We have beginning inventory. So what do you need to do with this beginning inventory? You need to do, there's a step before you start moving on to the rest of the stuff.
Put the $1,200 in the inventory on hand.
Yes, good. You put the 1,200 here inventory on hand. Okay? Because before we do anything though, let's look at what our information was in the previous one. Because this 1,200 isn't just a solid number. It consists of a partial of 1,000 from here and then the 200 from the second batch. So we have the inventory item for $1.05 and $1.30. Okay, so we need to make sure that we recognize this, especially because we're dealing with LIFO, right? We need to separate them. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill that in.
Okay.
So we had here, we had 1,000,
1,200.
and then this one's 200. And then your total here is 1,200. So again, this was, I think it was that. And then what was remaining again? What was the total of ending inventory? Let me see. The value of inventory is 1312.50. So here, 1312.50. So if this one's from the first one, let's go ahead and scroll up to make sure that's correct.
Wait, go back. You have 12.50 in there.
Hold on. $1312.50. This is $10.50, so therefore this amount should be
Well, if you subtract 1050 from 1312.50,
It's 265.
let's see.
I'm sorry, it's 262.50.
5 minus, yeah, 262.50.
262.50. Okay, and we know that this one is supposed to be $1.05. I think this is $1.30 or something like that. Okay. I think that's, yeah. So you need to make sure that you recognize all that into ending inventory, and you need to have the total at the bottom. So we know that our total is 1200, and our total was for 13 1250. Okay. Hold on.
Just,
Let's go back up because my numbers are not matching. Right here, 13 1250. I don't think that's right, because 2700 plus 13 1250. Okay, never mind, that is right. My bad. All right, so okay, good. So then once we've solved for that, okay, now we can go ahead and move on to the rest of the worksheet. So what do we do first?
Okay, July 5, purchase 500
Mm-hmm.
toys at $1.65.
Hold on. July 5, you purchased 500 items at $1.25. So what is that?
$1.65, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I write $1.25?
yeah.
$1.65.
Should be 825,
How much was freight?
$25.
So this became $8.50. So what is the unit per the cost per item?
Should be $1.70.
Okay. What happened next?
Purchased 800 toys at $1.80 each.
What's the date? 800 toys at $1.60 or 80. For how much? What's the total?
$14.40.
$14.40, and then our freight was,
$40.
so I got $14.80. And then what is the cost per item?
$1.85 each.
$1.85 each. Okay. Okay, so wait, Andrea, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one.
You go ahead, Andrea.
Oh, okay, 720.
Anybody, I was just worried. I was worried that she
Yeah.
wasn't catching up, yes.
I did get lost for a minute when you did the side on the inventory. I did the FIFO is what I was looking at, and so the LIFO I see is a little bit different.
Yes.
So, yeah, so that kind of confused me for a second. Okay, so it's on 720, we've got, 300 is the quantity. 300 for the quantity, and it's at 185 each.
Mm-hmm.
That's $555.
And how much was our freight?
55. And freight is 15. And the total cost. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Total cost is 570.
Mm-hmm. So what's the cost per item here?
And then for, Pacific, oh, second. And my look at it, all of a sudden you've been working, just a minute. So, we got
1,800?
570, 570.
No, I'm sorry. 570. And it's 1 pint.
Say that again, David. You were breaking up.
Uh, 1.9?
Is that right? Verified?
What did you come up with? My
Point
calculator
nine?
is not. 1.9,
Yes.
oh, 190, okay.
Yep. 1.9. Yep. 190.
Yeah, 190, 1.9.
That's correct.
Okay,
What else happened?
On the 25th of July,
20.
100
Mm-hmm.
over units at 175
Mm-hmm.
each.
Mm-hmm.
Just price 175. Freight expense 500 or $5.
Mm-hmm.
Total cost is 180. And your item 1.8.
Oh, 1.8?
Yeah. Well, 180, 1.8. I keep leaving off zeros. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct, David. Sorry, I'm just kind of waiting on
Oh, that's okay.
everyone else to see if they got the same answer. Okay. And then what's the last thing that's on the transaction list? So, what happened on the 31st of July?
Toys are received on hand.
How many do we have on hand?
We have 600 toys
Six
left.
delivered.
Perfect. Okay. So, okay, now that we finished our transactions, it's at the end of the period. What is the first thing that we need to do?
Finish your journal.
We'll skip the journal for now. It's going to be the same thing that we've been doing
Okay.
all last week. I mean, all yesterday. So,
Okay. Quantity left.
sorry, David, you're breaking up.
so we have 1,700 as our total for quantity.
All right. What's our total purchases?
Total purchases. Total purchases are $2,995.
Okay. And what is our total freight expense?
Total freight expense is 25. Is $85.
$85. Oopsies.
My total cost is 1,580. 570 and 180 is $3,080.
Oopsies. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to go, now that we've had solved all of those totals, now we're going to plug it into this table right here. So we had a total of 1,700 items, and it cost us $2,995. Okay. Did we have any purchase returns and allowances?
No,
No. So that means our number here is still going to be 1,700 at 2,995. Now another thing is freight expense. Doesn't have any items, so here you still have 1,700. So how much was freight?
freight is $85.
$85. So it gives you a grand total of 3,080. Okay. Now we're moving on to the second half, which is to look for the cost of goods sold. So, did we have beginning inventory?
Yes.
Yes.
1,200 on hand.
Yes. So we had $1,200.
Mhm.
So let me go to beginning real quick. We have 1,200 items, and it cost us how much?
13,1250.
13,1250. It costs us 13,1250, and then we bring our net purchases down here. So we're gonna add our 1,700 here for 3080, and then we're gonna add the total. So what is the total we have here? What is our goods available?
Goods available is 2,900.
2,900, and what's the total of those two combined?
Well, the ending balance is,
We're not there yet. We're
okay, yeah, we're not there yet. Okay, $4,477.50.
How did you get 7?
Oh, I don't know, I probably punched wrong.
Yeah, I was like, how did you get that? So what is
Wait
the
a minute now. Okay, so beginning balance plus the net purchase is 13,1250 plus 3,080 equals, oh, that's not right.
Yeah.
Okay, something's wrong with my thingy here.
17, you got 2,900.
Okay, so $4,392.50.
Okay,
Yeah, what you have.
perfect. All right, good. Good. So, looking at the top again, it says here on July 31st, how many items do we have? How many toys do we have on hand?
1,200.
No,
I mean, 1,200, yeah.
no, here. On July 31st.
Oh, July 31st. Yeah.
We have 600 items left. Okay, so we're going to put that here. We're going to put 600 items here. So therefore, how many items did we sell?
We sold 2,300.
Okay, perfect. Now, again, let's look of exactly how much inventory we sold. You can't do a quick shortcut. I'm just going to do it the long way so you can see everything, okay? So, what costing method are we dealing with?
Last in, first out.
All right, so let's go ahead and start calculating. What was the last batch that we just bought?
100 toys.
Mm-hmm.
Total cost was 180.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Then the next batch
Mm-hmm.
is 300
Yes.
quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, total cost 570.
Yes.
Okay, then the next batch 800.
Next batch is 800. Okay. You were starting from bottom to the top. Okay, 800. Mm-hmm.
Total cost 1480.
1480. Okay. What else?
Then we had to take the whole next batch of 500.
Mm-hmm.
That cost $850.
All right. Okay, and then now we gotta dip into our old
to
inventory.
Yep, which gave us 200 in quantity,
Mm-hmm.
$262.50.
Okay.
We had to dip into the 1,000 quantity, just 400 of it.
400 of it. Now, but this time we have 1,000 units, so we only need 400 out of it. So how do you
Right.
find what are we multiplying it by now?
By the unit cost of $1.05.
Yes, $1.05 is correct. So go ahead and calculate that for me and let me know what that is.
$420. 420.
420?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. Now I want you to add up the totals at the bottom here. I'm gonna do it right here so you can see it. So if you add all this together, you're gonna get 2,300. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How much is all this right here?
$3,762.50.
All right. Can I get a second on that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Good. 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 All right. So then we plug this number here. So 3,762.50. And we're going to subtract it from this number to get our ending inventory, which is
$630.
perfect. All right. So if you notice, right, the 600 items was from the original first batch that we got up here, which is from way up here. Okay? So that is what LIFO tends to do. It tends to keep the oldest and the first batch that you purchase, okay?
So the shortcut you were talking about, we could have just multiplied the 600 with the unit cost of $1.06
Mhm.
and get the same figure.
Correct. If we were to do it this way, we automatically know that the inventory that we purchased was 1,700. So all we know that we need to take from here is 600.
Right.
And then just add those two numbers together or three numbers together. So yes, the other shortcut would be if you were to know you had ending inventory of 600, you would just look at the way the flow works and be like, oh, okay, well, it's probably going to come from the top batch, the very first thing that we bought.
Right.
Okay? And then I could just multiply by 105 and get the same answer, 630.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Whichever way is more easiest for you, as long as you get the right answer, it's correct. Okay? So if you're going to solve for ending inventory, as long as you subtract that number from the goods available, you will always get the right answer. Okay?
Okay.
Most important, because the one thing that we need to know is no matter where we're at, the ending number has to equal the goods available. Okay? Because that's all you have available. You can't add extra dollars somewhere, or you can't minus extra dollars anywhere. It has to equal the $4,392.50 at the end of the day.
Yes.
All right, and that applies to down here as well in your conversion entry as well. That number will apply. Okay, so here we're going to journalize it as the 7th. Okay, so what accounts do we need to recognize?
Toys.
We need to recognize the toys, cost of goods sold,
Purchase expense.
purchase
credit
expense.
And beginning inventory.
Yes, good.
Toys. Yeah.
I know. I just keep saying beginning inventory.
Toys, good. All right, and let's look up here to extract all the numbers. So ending is going to be here, 630, where our cost of goods sold is going to be here at $3,762.50. Our beginning inventory is $13,1250. Our purchases is going to be $2,995. And lastly, our freight is going to be $85. Okay. Again, if you solve for this whole entire table, that is all you need to do your conversion entry. Okay. So again, this was 630. What was the cost of goods sold again? That was a mumbo jumbo.
$3,762.50.
Okay. We had freight costing $995. We had freight of $85 and a beginning inventory of $13,1250. And again, if you add these up together, you're going to get your grand total of your $4,392.50 on both sides. Okay. That is it for this compilation. Again, this journal is pretty straightforward. You're going to be rinse and repeating purchase expense, freight expense, and accounts payable. So everything's going to be pretty much the same thing here. So yes. All right. It is, any questions about this?
Nope, I think Andrea cut up